Welcome to Attican Plays Railway Empire. All right, welcome back to part three of our third pass at the free mode. And in the last one, we built our big line all the way from Jacksonville all the way up to Baltimore. We've got it running with let's see here, 19 trains. That's a little weird for me to have an odd number, so let's throw one more on there. Okay. And I've got a line up here with no maintenance. Here we go. Fix that. Okay. So we've got that going, and just a reminder in case you're not up to speed with us, we've got to get our grain going a little more. We've got 9 years to get that done. We want to get all this done before then, of course. Our biggie is 8 million from passengers. We're up to almost 3 million from passengers. So there's a couple things here for that passenger revenue. One is you need passenger trains, and you need people on those trains. So the way you get people on those trains is run routes between big cities. So if I've got a big long line like the one we just talked about, which was Baltimore to Jacksonville, and both of those cities were nice size, then we can have a lot of people on it. Jacksonville right now is at 56.9. That's a pretty good size city, but not really big. And Baltimore is our home base, and it's only at 55. We've been remiss. We haven't really built up Baltimore because we've been focusing on Grand Rapids and on other things. So what we want to do is build these big cities. Now, we took a one city approach up here, and so I said build it out and make it grow. And we talked a little bit about how a warehouse would have been better here. And I do want to do one last thing to this. Well, I won't say one last thing, but I do want to put in let's do it out of here. Since I put that meat factory, I love that name, in Grand Rapids. I want to make sure that we can. That's a little too funky, isn't it? Let me back this up a little bit. That's better. I want to go ahead and connect meat directly in there. Make sure I don't keep it from growing, because we're going to talk about now, what we just started talking about, is we want long lines between large cities to get our passenger revenue up. So we need that dragon. That's the freight train. Until the ball one comes along, we need that dragon on our freight line. Should really have them on all of them. In fact, that's something we can do. There we go. Let's put all our freight lines running these dragons, and let's get about 3 of those going into the big city. Now, and let's bump this guy up one. We want that cattle to be a big portion of his. We want him to keep growing because he's going to give us a lot of passengers. Now, the other thing we want to do here is talk about. Let's just take an opportunity to talk about utilization and demand. So we've got these factories in here, and that utilization is pretty good for the brewery. Very, very poor for the sawmill. He's having trouble getting logs. That's because of the way we set it up with the those lines coming in and the bog down. But you also, even if you had it, you will have periods where, look here, look at all this stuff we have to export, and that's going to actually cause those production facilities to at some point kind of shut down and let's say lose interest in producing anything. So let me clean up some of. Yes, I could try to reuse this, but sometimes the bulldozer is the best way to go. This is stuff we inherited from our dear buddy Beatrice, I think it was. I've almost forgotten which one we got it from. So to make demand right off the bat, I could do a freight line to here, and that would give some demand because you have demand in Grand Rapids and demand in Toledo. But another way to make actually more demand and also set yourself up for nice stuff going forward is to set up a little warehouse out here, a little goods exchange. We've done these before in some of our builds, but we can have this warehouse out here, pump these goods out, and then have them go out to Toledo and to Indy and wherever else they need to go. But the point being that we can create demand, so to speak, by doing so. Let me bump up this station. It's positioned okay. We can use it the way it is. Okay, so we'll first of all, let's see where's our warehouse over here. Good. All right, so let's run a line off that station. Now that little configuration we just did right there, if we count the stops for the train, this is just a general idea. Station is 1. It can go up here to this and stops 2 to the supply tower. It can stop at this signal is 3. It can go in this station is 4. It can stop at this supply tower going back it's 5. And it can stop at this signal at the other end. That's 6 places that trains could stop on this line. So this train, or sorry, this track, this double track right here, is capable of supporting 5 trains. That's 6 stops minus 1, because there always has to be one spot open for a train to move forward. Otherwise, they would all just get into total gridlock. So let's just run 5 trains just to demonstrate that. And we can run them. And I don't need to be full because this is going to be a shuttle. Eventually, it'll be a shuttle. Right now, it's just a one kind of a take that stuff out there. We'll run our freight train out there and make sure it's got a reason to go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll put 6 items out there in the warehouse, and might as well load them up. So by building this warehouse, our meat factory in Grand Rapids now has a demand of 99 units that it needs to fulfill. So what we will see is that provided we can, let's take breweries for example, breweries should start running close to 100% all the time because now they have big demand that they need to meet. Same thing here. If we had better wood supply, you'll see this thing start going up as they realize, hey, I can ship my lumber off to that warehouse. Now I have a demand. So basically, that gives us the whole bit here. And I meant to run more trains, didn't I? 3, 4, and 5. So we'll fill that line up. And if you need more trains, you would just put down signals, say in the middle, or a supply tower, and that would actually allow you to run 2 more trains because you've created 2 more stops in your total line. So I hope that makes sense. Now, back to playing the game. So what we want to do now, we've got a big city here. I want to connect it by a long line to a big city, which is going to be Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not big yet, but it's going to be. So in anticipation of that, and so I can get my um, other line down first, so to speak. I want to get my what is that? That's a corn line. Don't want that. Okay, so we're going to run a line from here. In fact, actually, I want to run it from here since I'm not using that one. All the way to Grand Rapids. Sorry, don't mean to make you dizzy. All the way to Grand Rapids now. Okay, what's keeping us from doing this? Don't need that long, gigantic bridge. That's better. And now we got to get I can't say I need to keep that, so we'll get rid of this guy. He's in our way. Get rid of the track. Okay, looking good so far. Okay, we do not need to go through those mountains for $2 million. So we're going to go over here, and we might as well delete this line first. Okay, you can see we've gone down from about $2.5, $3 million down to 650. Getting better every second. $599. We got under 600. That's pretty good. So that's going to give us a line, wow, 774-mile line from Grand Rapids, Michigan to Jacksonville, Florida. I'm not sure they were called that back then, but and let's just go all the way to the other end, if I can find the other end. Okay. That looks good. Now, it's so big we can't scroll up and see it all. So let's just say that somewhere in here is the midpoint, which I think is probably a good guess. Let's divide that in two. Okay, if that was the midpoint, then that would be okay. That's plenty. And let's just do a quick count. Just where could you stop on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. A couple of signals will be 26, so I could run 25 trains on this in theory without having any problems other than the fact that they'd sit there and wait on each other. So we won't run that many. But we are going to run probably at least a good 16, and we'll see how that looks. I would say 16 would be good. Express goods from here to here. And we're going to prioritize passengers. I'm not positive we have to do this because it seems like it prioritizes passengers, but we will definitely do it explicitly. Prioritize passengers, grab mail or whatever if you can. Grab mail if you get the opportunity. Down here, passengers. And we want our fastest train on that. And we definitely want a dining car. And now we need to go back to the other end. From Grand Rapids all the way to Jacksonville. Express goods, passenger, passenger, fast train, and a dining car. Now we've got our two trains. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you can see how much mail was piled up there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. We'll run 16 trains on that line. Now, you saw all that mail. It's miles piled up. We need to have more passengers available. How are we going to do that? We are going to make Jacksonville a bigger city. More people, more passengers. So we're going to do, and I lied to you last time. I said I was going to blow up all of this and redo it. I thought, why bother? It's working. Grand Rapids is already a nice big city. It's over 110,000 people. So let's not mess with. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So let's just go ahead and okay. I just increased our ticket prices for passengers. That's a good thing. There's 10% more revenue for our passengers. Now, we need to make this city big. So what are we going to do? We're going to build a warehouse. We've got some great resources down here in the southeast or in the south. We've got cattle, wood, cotton, milk, sugar, and wheat and veggies, and we can pump them all into our buddy Jacksonville. And we're going to do it from a warehouse kind of over this way. I want it over here in case we ever want to do, if we wanted to build up Atlanta, Montgomery, even Augusta, it'd be easy to do it from that warehouse. So we're going to have a warehouse right there. And we're going to create tons of demand. And now we're going to run dedicated lines. Oh, sorry. Might be nice if we had stations first. We'll have lines coming across like this and up like that. And so we'll save this first platform 1 as we're looking at it for Jacksonville. We'll have this one come up this way to 2. This one can go either way, so I think I'll have it come in this way. And then cattle, cotton, logs can come in this way from that side. So let's see, let's just start from the longest point here. Cattle. We got 3 to choose from. Let's do that one. Fast forward a little bit past the track laying and they rejoin the action. Okay, now to further promote smooth running, we're going to have all of our repairs done out here so that we don't end up getting a lot of trains waiting on repairs that are happening in the warehouse. And I think I would like to have another. We may not need this, but let's put another large station in here if it'll fit. Our industries don't get in the way. Okay. And keep some of this middle open here in case we want to go up here to other cities. So go over here. Alright, that should give us a nice, neat, organized way to build Jacksonville into a big city. And what we're going to do with its industries, since we now have funds, breweries are fine, weaving is okay. When we hit 60, we can put another thing in, and we'll actually, believe it or not, put meat in, and that way, and I'll explain why in a minute. I keep promising to explain. I promise, and I will explain. And let's make sure we have repairs here. Okay, are we getting any results over here yet? There, 286 out of 1. Let's see what we're doing over here. Nobody's made it all the way yet. Okay, let's turn these babies on. Now, we spoke earlier about the demand and how we want to keep that up and keep these production plants running. So we've got the same thing. We want to run our production out to a warehouse. So anything that the city doesn't consume of its own accord will go out to this warehouse and be queued up for other cities to use as we continue to build. Ooh, that's awful far back. Good grief. Oh, I see. Maybe. Okay. And we need to turn on in this warehouse what we want it to take. And what are we producing here? Beer. We're going to be doing wheat, meat, and this, and then we might as well go back. Get those ready if the time comes. We're about fully upgraded when it comes to our passenger tickets and what have you. Okay, we're starting to see growth. Should see good growth out of this city from now on. We got a quarterly report coming up. We were at 2.7 in mail. Let's see if we got any better. I mean passengers. We're at 4 million. That's good. We're showing signs of growing. Run it out to the end of the year and see how we're doing at the end of 1853. And look at this, Jacksonville grows. $5 million. Okay, looking good. Oh, look at this. Number of passengers increased by 10%. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so how are we doing? We're a little low on grain. We got 8 years to finish it. I think we'll finish it in time, but I don't want it to hold us up. That's for sure. What can we do? We'd start throwing grain. Where can we put it? Well, it's going to pick up now that we've got this going. Their warehouse is doing great. Our city is hanging in there. And you know what? We've got freebie, right? Oh, that's veggies. Let's give them veggies. They're right there for the taking. We'll do this one as an exception without a warehouse. and of course, a nice museum, making a train museum. Now, Jacksonville should grow for us, produce more people going to Grand Rapids and more people going back to Baltimore. Now, let's stop right there for a second. I think the next thing we're going to do here, after we look at our task list, I get a few more employees. Whoops. Nobody likes her. There, somebody likes her. There was the one we want. Conductors give you higher ticket prices. Okay. Oh, what was I about to say? So the next thing we want to do is really expand. I mean, we've got places that are just dead. We're not even using them. And we also need to expand Baltimore because it's got a huge base. So I think the best thing, first of all, would be let's build a double line into New York. So we can let New York grow now. We can give them a museum. Oh, you know what we need to start doing? Goodness, Danny, wake up. We need to start building attractions in these cities. Oh my goodness. Tell me I'm not that stupid. All right, Jacksonville. I hope you enjoyed your museum because you are about to become Disney World. In Grand Rapids. You are about to become whatever that is. Increases travel by 20%. Absolutely want to go there. Pittsburgh. That's easier than trying to grow the cities, isn't it? So, Baltimore. Where were we? Oh, yes. We put an attraction in New York. It's a big city. We should do well here. We'll put passenger line to Baltimore. Oh, and you know what? We've got him running into the old line that. Oh, this is this is where he's running on easy mode to our competitor, and we're running realistic. So we got a mismatch here. So what we need to do is take this line right here. That line wasn't even ready for use. Get away with a lot of stuff with easy mode that we can't get away with. And in fact, I don't want to use that one. We may want to build up the city. Okay, now these trains should be very, very confused. Okay, what have I done? Don't have the line connected. And 8, that should do well. All right, so while we watch this play out, I want to just make some general comments about how to handle these objectives when you're really trying to grow a passenger business, or just how to grow a passenger business uh, in general. One, use this long line strategy. The long line strategy is custom tailored for this kind of scenario, and we've just seen how it works beautifully. And I'll tell you how we ended up doing here in a minute. Build long lines between big cities. Set the priority on those lines to passengers, and add a dining car, and then target getting conductors who increase your ticket price and make them happy. So that would be a good thing to do. We didn't focus on that here, but get conductors who are happy, who like the people they're working with, and you'll get some really good boosts on your prices. And of course, you just want happy staff altogether in general in any strategy. Build attractions in the cities. So you want to grow these cities, but then you also want these attractions to increase that could give you that 20% bump in passenger traffic. So those are really strong. Another one I really didn't do a good job on here, give myself a critique. Target your research on passenger improvements like more passengers, higher ticket prices, et cetera. There are a number there. In fact, I misstated earlier in this. I said we're about done with their improvements or research, and that wasn't true at all. There were a couple more that were really helpful. Um, Also, of course, target a fast express train. So get that Rogers American in this time period or whatever. But make sure you get that fast train, because that fast train is going to turn over, improve your speed, and your all your pricing on these passenger lines is based on the distance traveled and how fast you get people there. So you get more money if you travel longer distance with faster trains and faster arrival times. As far as the number of trains you run, be careful not to get them too crowded so that you slow down the trains. That's going to affect your prices and make it inefficient. However, it's better to have, in my opinion, too many than too few, because if you have too few, your passenger traffic will diminish, because passengers will only wait for a certain amount of time on a train before they hop on a Wells Fargo coach and take off over land. So make sure you have plenty of trains running. Just don't have them bumping into each other and slowing each other down. And that would be a general statement you'd want true on all of your lines, be it freight or passenger. Plenty of trains, but not too many. That's a pretty obvious thing to say. And then the one thing that we didn't do on here, I didn't really get to it, that would have helped a lot, and I was shame on me, is the market crier. I kind of I kind of, if you notice, I didn't pay much attention to those. That last category of employees, where you get those, like the saboteurs and the market crier and the reporters and all that. I never worry about reporters, because that's about kind of building your company up versus the opposition. And frankly, and I apologize for this if it sounds self-serving, or if it sounds like a knock on the game, because I don't mean to be either thing. But the competition's so weak that I don't really need to do much with them. I mean, I buy them out when I want to. In fact, I, if we had more time, I would go into kind of strategies for when to buy them out. Because if you buy them out the right time, you get a bunch of employees. You get well, anyway. I don't want to go into that. This video is too long already. So that's the way you get a good passenger traffic. Now, let me summarize this. I went ahead and finished the mission because I knew we were in such great shape, and we ended up finishing with a final evaluation score. And I wish I'd captured it. I'm sorry I didn't. But our final evaluation score was 40 out of 30. So we did pretty well, obviously. And I think it comes back to having a strategy that matches our objectives. That's kind of strategy 101 right there. Find your objectives, match it with a strategy. This long line strategy works beautifully for that kind of a requirement, those passenger traffic requirements. So let's wrap it up right there. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Railway Empire video. Thank you.